A private company overthrew an empire. Not a king, not a country, a company with a logo and shareholders. That's how the British took the Mughal Empire, and it started with a trade license. Here's the shock. In 1757, about 3,000 company soldiers beat an army 10 times bigger and opened the door to ruling millions. Let me rewind. The Mughals were the giant on the subcontinent, wealthy, sophisticated, layered with regional powers under a grand court in Delhi. In 1600, Queen Elizabeth I gave the English East India Company a charter: buy low, sell high, bring back spices, textiles, and tea. For decades, the company was just a guest, renting warehouses in bustling Mughal ports like Surat and later Calcutta. But empires crack slowly, then all at once. By the early 1700s, the Mughal center weakened. Provincial governors got ambitious. Marathas surged. Nizams, Nawabs, and sultans played their own games. Into that chaos walked a corporation with guns, accountants, and a ruthless incentive: profit. The pivot point? Bengal. Rich, fertile, packed with weavers whose cloth Europe craved. In 1757, company agent Robert Clive made a deal in the shadows with court insiders, most famously Mir Jafar. At Plassey, British cannons boomed, monsoon rains dampened rival gunpowder, and key commanders didn't show up. The Nawab's army folded. The company didn't just win a battle, it seized a revenue machine. 2 years later, money flowed. In 1765, after more maneuvering, the Mughal Emperor, reduced and cornered, granted the company the Diwani of Bengal, the right to collect taxes. Imagine outsourcing your treasury to a foreign corporation. That cash funded more troops, more forts, more treaties. The human cost was brutal. The Bengal famine of 1770 killed millions. Exports were prioritized. Taxes stayed high. Relief was late and thin. Parliament in London stared in horror and then tightened the leash with regulations. But the company kept pushing. Next came the spreadsheet conquest. Subsidiary alliances. We'll protect you. You'll pay us. Also, keep our troops in your territory. And don't make friends without our permission. Governor General Wellesley made it policy. Those who resisted? War. Tipu Sultan fell in 1799. The Marathas, after a series of campaigns, were broken by 1818. Then Governor General Dalhousie added fine print: the doctrine of lapse. If a ruler had no approved heir, the company annexed the state. That scooped up territories like Jhansi, and in 1856, Awadh, once a Mughal heartland province. This pressure cooker exploded in 1857. Soldiers, sepoys, rose up, joined by princes and peasants. It was fierce, tragic, and fragmented. At its symbolic center stood Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal, an old poet-emperor pulled into a war he couldn't command. The British crushed the uprising, exiled Zafar to Rangoon, and ended the Mughal line. In 1858, London dissolved company rule and took India directly under the crown. The Union Jack didn't replace the Mughal sun in a single stroke. It seeped under doors the company had already opened, through credit, contracts, cannon, and cunning. So how did Britain take the Mughal Empire? By turning trade into rule, debt into control, and local rivalries into stepping stones. A private balance sheet toppled a dynasty, and an empire became a ledger entry. If that shocks you, good, because the story of power is rarely just about battles, it's about who writes the receipts.